Welcome to the Mind and Body Movement course. This is a set of videos for the continuers on the course. In session 1, we looked at fractionation of movement. So this is a control practice where we take a functional everyday movement and break it down into some of its constituent parts, and then see if we can control our body movement through the sequence of those parts. We looked at movement of the arm, in reaching type movement. We looked at some of the movements that the back can make, and we looked at a movement that the leg makes, which approximates the walking sequence of movements. So now let's start with the arm. I'll just get started. It's got four parts. So 1 is bending the elbow, 2 is raising the elbow, and 3 is reaching forwards, and 4 is down. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Remember, we're working from the soft center, which means we can slow this movement down and we can make it smaller. So working from a side view, bending the elbow, raising the elbow, reaching forwards, and then slowly down. 1, 2, 3, 4. Making it soft, small, and slow. It's okay. Being aware that you're not raising the shoulder up through tension as you bend the elbow. We can do it with both arms together. 1, 2, 3, 4. Make it small, make it slow. Make it even smaller, make it even slower. From the soft center, not pushing into stretch, strain, not pushing into pain. Just reminding ourselves this is not strengthening or stretching per se, it's a movement. In the session we had a little bit of fun with this by having one arm one stage ahead of the other arm. So it looks a little bit like this. So I go 1, 2, 3, 4. Takes a lot more concentration, this. So just treat it as a little bit of fun. If you start getting tense, frustration comes in, then just give yourself a rest. Whoops. Talking and doing at the same time. There we go. Okay, so that's the arm fractionation sequence. With the spine, we have 3 sequences. A turning sequence, a going to the side sequence, and a curling, uncurling sequence. And what we're sequencing here with the back is the neck, and then below that, the thoracic spine, which goes from the base of the neck to about 2/3 of the way down, and then the lumbar spine, which is that lower part of the back, gives us that familiar curve down the bottom there. So neck, thoracic, lumbar. First movement we did, that we fractionated, was turning. So remember, this is turning, not twisting. I think the word twisting can kind of promote us to push into the movement a little bit. Always from the soft center, so turning, head, thoracic, lower back, and if you're standing, that will also be your pelvis as well. So it looks a little bit like this. So head, thoracic, lumbar. And then we derotate, starting from the bottom, going upwards, lumbar, thoracic, head. Head, thoracic, lumbar. Lumbar, thoracic, head. The other way of thinking about this is, imagine you've got an assistant, a very gentle assistant, who first of all will turn your head for you, and then this imaginary assistant will put their hands on your shoulders and gently turn the upper back, and then they'll put their hands on your waist and gently turn the lower part. So imagining those hands placed there might be helpful. So my head is being turned, my shoulders are being turned, and then my waist is being turned. And then my waist is being turned back, my shoulders are being turned back, and then my head is being turned back. Sequencing the movement, head, shoulders, waist. Waist, shoulders, head. It can feel a bit strange, this, because we're not used to breaking up the movement. Might feel a little bit robotic as well, but actually there's a little overlap between the head or neck, shoulders, thoracic, and lumbar waist turn. And once again, from the soft center, we can make this very small. And it's quite helpful to be doing this slowly as well, because the coordination, just trying to think of what's going on and how to get my body to move this way, can take quite a bit of concentration and time to get that going. So nice and small, nice and slow. All right, the second movement with the spinal fractionation was side to side. So going side to side, that will involve the head, dipping down the shoulders, and then squeeging a bit here for that final movement, not stretching, not straining, not pushing it to pain. On the way up, it's quite nice to imagine a cord pulling up between each vertebrae, just gently lengthening the spine all the way up, and then finally up through the top of the head. So you get to the start position with a sense of lengthening upwards. And then going the other way, I'm just going to drop my ear down. I'm going to let my shoulder go a little bit, and then I'm going to feel that little squeak in the side. Trying not to strain too much up here. And then imagine that cord coming from the base of the spine, just raising up through between the shoulder blades, and then finally up through the top of the head. So don't be in a rush to go the other way, just feel that sense of lengthening upwards through the spine before you let go the other way. And as always, I can do this small and slow, as long as I'm fractionating through the three sections of the back, the neck, the thoracic, and then the lumbar. And on the way up, the lumbar is lengthening upwards into the thoracic, through between the shoulder blades, up the neck, to the top of the head. The third movement that we're going to fractionate on the spine is this notion of curling and uncurling. Or you could imagine this like slumping. So you can slump in the chair, or we can slump in the air. And again, three parts for this. So just allow the neck to slump, or the chin to come down and in. Allow the chest to drop, so the up back to curve around the shoulders. And then we're just going to fold over the belly and let the low back slump backwards. Let the belly come forwards. As we come up, raise the chest, and then the chin. Dropping the chin, dropping the chest, and then folding over the belly. Let the belly press forwards a little bit as we reintroduce this curve in the low back. Let the chest rise as we straighten between the shoulder blades. And let the chin come up and throat open as we bring the head and the neck back upright. Again, we can do this in a slow and small sequence. Chin, chest, a little fold over the belly. Belly comes forwards, open the chest upwards, and the chin comes back to the start. Thinking about the back of us from that perspective, just allow the neck to arch forward, allow the upper back to curve and let the shoulders round, allow the lower back to slump backwards. Reintroduce the curve in the low back, straightening up between the shoulder blades, and you just feel the shoulders naturally pull back and then straighten up through the back. So this is the curling and uncurling. The third movement of fractionating the spine. The last movement we looked at was a leg movement, and this is a pattern that simulates a walking pattern. So it's in 5 parts. I'll stand sideways. When you do this, you can do it, do hold on if you need to hold on with one hand or 2 hands. It's completely fine. This is not a balance exercise per se. So here are the 5 parts of this fractionated walking pattern. 1 is raising the knee, 2 is straightening the knee, 3 pulling the foot back, 4 taking the whole leg behind you, 5 straightening the toes or pointing the toes away, and then coming back to the start. So 1 raising, 2 straightening, 3 pulling back, 4 moving the whole leg behind you, 5 pointing the toes, and then back to the start. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. As always, moving from the soft center means we can do this much smaller and slower. Not pushing into stress, strain, pain. It's not stretching, it's not strengthening, it's just moving. And if we do it softly and small and slow, then we can really concentrate on fractionating the movements. So I'm going to do it facing this way, use my other leg, and I'll do this nice and small now, just to demonstrate how we can do this from the soft center. So lifting the knee, so I may get to the point where my foot is still on the floor, but I've managed to fractionate this movement out. I've raised the knee up, that's fine if the toes are still on the floor. And I'm going to straighten my knee. I'm not locking out the knee, causing strain around the knee or above the knee. 3 is pulling the toes up or the foot back. Not to such an extent that I'm feeling a stretch or strain in the back of the leg or the calf. 4, take the leg behind me. And it just needs to be a little bit behind me. I'm not reaching and raising the leg up into the air. And 5, pointing the toes. Now it may be that as I go to point the toes away, my foot is in contact with the floor. That's completely fine. And then 5, back to the start. So again, a smaller version in that soft center. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And back to the start. So there we have it. There we have our fractionation of the arm. We've got 3 directions with the spine that we can fractionate, and we've got this walking pattern with the leg mostly in the air there, which is in 5 sections. Maybe 2 or 3 repetitions of each of these movements. Don't have to do them all at the same time either. And we've discussed these sorts of practice approaches on the course. So I hope you find this helpful, and I'll see you in the next video for session 2.